Hello, guys. This is the Unsmooth Criminal, and I'm kind of brand new at this stuff, but I've been looking everywhere on YouTube, fanfics, the internet. I've looked everywhere, and I cannot find a cross between my favorite game, which is Borderlands, the entire genre. Well, that's my opinion, so if you don't agree, take it with a grain of salt, please. And My Hero Academia. So, I need to start this what if with that there are sirens in My Hero, there are vaults in My Hero, but it's too late. All the vaults have been opened, all the loot has been taken out, the destroyer's dead. Well, the destroyer's still not dead. It spoilers for Borderlands 1, 2, 3, and the pre-sequel, which is a good game. All the vaults, the one on Elpis, Helios downed, the warrior's dead, the destroyer is locked up again, and they know where the siren powers come from. I still don't, so I'm just going to make some BS up that they came from a different universe and the destroyer was a dimensional creature that destroyed everything on that universe. So, what if Deku went through the same stuff that Kreig did, and he came out the exact same? So, when Kreig finally gets noticed, like when he got noticed by Maya and he saved her in one of the trailers, he got attached. So when this is going to be a what if where the quirk, the given quirk age, where you find out if you have a quirk or not, is going to be 2, and the quirk awakens. So I'm going to say Deku, or Izuku Midoriya, which he's not going to be called Izuku Midoriya the entire time. Deku, he goes to the quirk doctor with his mother, and his mother finds out, while he's still being a little child, that his quirk is a villainous one. His quirk is called Rampage. He can summon a weapon, and he goes crazy. He can't control himself. He won't be able to control himself yet, but he goes crazy. If you played Borderlands 2, you'll hear something familiar. So, the only downside of this is if anything happens to mentally break him, it's 50 times worse. So, she finds out that his quirk is villainous, then just leaves him in the forest. This is like an hour later, he's just waking up in the forest and he doesn't know where he is. What he doesn't know, even though he's in the forest, he doesn't know that this is a scientific research facility to study his quirk, because the doctor also said that there's a chance that he has the abilities of a vault hunter. I'm going to go into that later, but right now it doesn't require going into. So this is what Kreig looks like if you haven't seen him in the games. And Deku is pretty much going to look the same. But when he's in Buzz-Axe Rampage, like Kreig can do, he's going to look like this. So I'm going to skip 1 month where Deku has survived on whatever animals he could find in this forest. And a doctor walks into the area and has hiking clothes on to look like he's been out there for a few days. So they can convince him that he's going to his job finally and that he will take Deku in. This is going to come into play later. But they start hiking in one direction. This is a massive private property. So Deku, who didn't find any of the edges, any of the fences, so he still thinks he's in the middle of the woods, which he kind of is. But the doctor takes him directly to the main facility, where he's all nice and everything until he gets to the door. And this has been like 3 days, and Deku has started to grow attached to the doctor. And this is what they wanted. So the doctor starts to build a bond with Deku, but it's only a one-sided bond. Deku thinks that he's finally getting a family again. Then, a year later of him being in this facility, the doctor walks in and tells Deku to activate his quirk. Which Deku's been told how his quirk can just change him completely. So now Deku's asking why, because the doctor knows the side effects of his quirk. And he's just telling him, use your quirk. Use your quirk. And it's mentally straining on Deku because he knows that his quirk can kill the doctor very easily. And 5 minutes of the doctor just yelling at Deku to use his quirk, Deku complies, uses his quirk, and slaughters everybody in the building. When he comes out of his Buzz-Axe Rampage, I'm going to be calling it that, even though it's really just a rampage and he just summons a random knife or axe or whatever you want to consider or a weapon for him. But when he gets out of it, he starts mentally shutting down. So for 3 days straight, he's emotionless. He doesn't talk. He just nods. He does what the people tell him to do. And then on the 4th day, he starts speaking illegibly. Kind of like Kreig does. But it's just like when they ask him a question, instead of saying yes or no for yes or no questions, he says something random, which he thinks he's saying yes or no, but it's just a random word. Like, this is strange. And by this time, he's started to develop split personality disorders. So he has 3 voices in his head. The sane, the logical, and the talking voice. So the sane one tells him what he should do, the logical one tells him how to do it, and then the talking voice is like Kreig's main voice, where all it does is yell, scream, and say how much it wants food, blood, and to kill people. Because he mentally broke from his quirk. His quirk shattered his mind. Because his quirk made him like killing, and he was taught killing is bad. So I'm going to skip. So he was 4 when he mentally broke. I'm going to skip to when he's 10. He's 10 at the facility, and all of a sudden the alarms go off. The doctors immediately press the gas everything button. It's the big red button that says for emergencies only. It's knockout and poison gas. Because knockout gas doesn't work on what they're trying to use it on. Only poison gas does. So they have to weaken him, then weaken him, then have the gas go through him. Otherwise, nothing would work on him. And this has happened multiple times, so they figured this out. And when the security alarm goes off, everybody knows to evacuate the building. Because if they don't, he's not going back into containment. And this 10-year-old Deku is the one they're trying to contain. Oops. Okay. Because of his quirk. His quirk activates at random times now. And they have taken him through multiple torture sessions to see how far they can push him before he starts dying. They found out that his quirk saves him. One of the skills Kreig has is, I think it's Mons. One of the skills Kreig has is that he, at a certain percentage of health, he activates his action skill, Buzz Axe Rampage, and immediately gains his health to full. So they didn't know Deku wasn't using his quirk. So they thought, oh, the poison and knockout gas will get him and subdue him. All of a sudden, they hear just a giant roar, insane roar from down the hall. The control room door starts to be ripped off the hinges by a massive arm. In canon, All Might's arm is like 1 foot around when he's in All Might form. But when he's in Small Might, it's like 3 inches. So they just see a massive arm that looks like All Might's. And like, what the hell happened? And then the main interrogation unit commander that's in the observation room is like, oh crap, his quirk finally activated. And all the scientists are like, that happened? Release the Beast is the name of the skill. When Kreig is under 33% health, you can activate his Buzz Axe Rampage, and he instantly recharges his health. Hi, Leo. Leo's my cat. Hi, buddy. Go play over there. Go. But when he activates it, he gains increased strength. He can constantly summon his weapon. So in Buzz Axe Rampage, he has the ability to throw his Buzz Axes. And he's going to be dual wielding. So he's like a berserker from any of the games. And when he's in Berserker, his Buzz Axe Rampage, he doesn't look human. He looks more monster than human, which the doctors are confused about. They know by tests by now have shown that he is part Vault Hunter. There's stories of this Vault Hunter from the olden days that carried a giant weapon that was unstoppable. Once he used his effect, he was unstoppable. Oh, and shields aren't a thing in My Hero anymore. Shields were outlawed because of the health system and the new U stations. Those were also outlawed. So everybody's just hitting each other straight. And they're wondering why this is happening. Why is one of the old historical Vault Hunters that saved the universe coming back? They don't know why. They think that, oh, he just is a descendant. And then they're like, do you hear voices in your head? And they get a random, somehow they understood yes from Deku of, yes, I do. And he's literally starting to look like Kreig. If you take a picture of Kreig in Borderlands 2, shrink him just a little, and take off his 8-pack and only put a 4-pack there, that's what Deku looks like. So Deku literally looks like a small Kreig. And they're just trying to rack their brains around how Kreig, the most volatile Vault Hunter that just went crazy, is back. They can't, because they thought all Vault Hunters were stuck in the vaults, because all the vaults have been sealed, all the keys were sealed inside the vaults, so they can't be opened again. And I'm just going to say that they found a way for the keys to go with the Vault Hunters into the vault, and then the vault shut again. Because that just makes my story so much easier to say. Because now I don't have to worry about going into the vaults, but... So, after a while, after like 5 minutes, the door finally fully opens. And they see Deku still in his rampage. And they're like, it's supposed to have worn off by now. Why is he still rampaging? And then all of a sudden, his rampage starts to slow down, and then he just walks towards the doctors in normal form, pulls out a stick of dynamite from nowhere, and they're like, holy crap, where the hell did he get dynamite from? And they don't know that one of Kreig's abilities is to pull out a stick of dynamite and literally blow himself up. And if someone dies within that explosion, he stays alive. So they're like, he's finally killing himself. Why didn't he just do this earlier? The hilarious bit is I'm doing a Kreig playthrough on UVHM, Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, in Borderlands 2 while doing this story. So, Kreig, or Deku, I'm just going to call him Kreig from now on. Kreig, he pulls out the stick of dynamite and he runs at the doctors, holds the stick of dynamite above his head, and yells as loud as possible. And all of a sudden, All Might, who's currently jumping over the area, searching for where the noxious gases are coming from, because they said that a few campers were in this area and they reported feeling dizzy, coughing really hard, and they don't know why, because this is not a normal thing in that area. All of a sudden, he sees and hears a giant explosion. So he quickly runs as fast as he can. Also, all the heroes are fitted with a pager. A pager to signal the other heroes that I may need some backup. So he quickly also activates his pager, telling the heroes that he also may need backup. And he gets to the explosion and he sees a research facility. A research facility that was just blown up. He sees a little kid, what looks like a 13-year-old kid, because he looks 13 in this. He's gonna be 8 foot though. He's gonna be taller than All Might, stronger than All Might too, but he's he's just standing there in the middle, laughing. And he's saying some of Kreig's most famous lines. I want a new meat bicycle. And All Might thinks that he's a villain. And Deku still remembers the "have no fear, I am here" you're saying. So when All Might all of a sudden runs in and says that, he starts getting excited. But his new personality wants him to fight. So all of a sudden, he goes into Buzzak's rampage again. And he's like, strip the flesh, salt the wound. And all of a sudden he starts laughing again and runs straight at All Might. And his sane voices are like, don't do that. He's strong. He's our hero. And the lunatic voice is just keeps saying the same thing. strip the flesh, salt the wound, and laughing. By the end of this, he's gonna be a little bit more sane. So, well, at least this episode. And it's already 25 minutes. Wow, time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. Then all of a sudden, All Might sees that he's running at him with a giant freaking axe with a saw blade apparently strapped to it. And what looks like a piece of leather on the handle. What looks like a handle. And he's like, oh crap, is this a villain? So he powers up 50% thinking, oh, this is just going to knock him out. He does a full 50% smash and it does nothing. He hit him square in the face and it did nothing to Kreig. And he's like, oh crap, I have to go harder. He does 100%. It does nothing. He's like, oh crap, what is this villain? Then he does his 1,000,000% plus Ultra Smash, or United States Smash, whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden, the villain gets thrown to the wall, coughs up a little blood, and then runs at him again. So in this AU alternate universe, he has not fought one All for One and gotten injured. He fought All for One, injured him before he could injure All Might. So All Might's not injured, so he can stay like this forever, as long as possible. So all of a sudden, All Might's like, oh crap, I need to find a way to knock him out and not kill him, because at the rate I'm going to kill him. And Deku's resilience is like Stain's. From he had 3 ribs, or I think it was 2 to 3 ribs puncturing his lungs, and he could still run at you full speed and talk. So Kreig is still laughing maniacally, going crazy like normal Kreig. But All Might says, I don't want to fight and I don't want to hurt you. And Kreig immediately freezes at that, thinking of the doctor and how he killed him, starts breaking down and crying. Being like, I don't want to kill someone that doesn't want to hurt me again. So his 2 sanity voices, the logical is like, yeah, we don't want to hurt him, so don't fight him. And then the sane one is like, he's family, don't hurt him. So the lunatic voice finally drops the quirk and control. Then the logical voice, which still can't talk yet, tries to talk, which he has complete control over the body except for speaking. So something random comes out, and then he hits himself in the head with the buzz axe. Like, I think it was Salt the Wound in his skill tree. Silence the Voices. He hits himself in the head like Silence the Voices, which is it adds 250% melee damage while having a 12% chance to hit yourself in the head. So it activates silence the voices, where his melee damage goes up. And he doesn't know why, but he really hit himself hard in the head. And then all of a sudden he grabs a piece of paper and writes down, "Please help me." All Might's like, "Oh crap, I almost killed somebody who's asking for help. But I don't know how to help him." So All Might starts asking questions, and the sanity voice starts answering them. But he literally puts on the note saying, "No big words," and like a Neanderthal, he says, "No big word." And then he puts underneath, "Only yes, no." Oops. Yeah. Yeah, I got this image off the internet. It was a good image. Props to whoever the artist was. Props to whoever did this image. Yeah, this isn't my image. So YouTube, when you see this, please don't judge me. This isn't my image. So, where was it? All Might is like, "Okay, I don't know how to help you, but I think I know somebody who can. Please follow me." And at this time, the other pro heroes are starting to arrive, and Eraserhead, who sees All Might's talking to someone, walks in. And Deku runs in front of All Might thinking that he's here to hurt All Might. Eraserhead gets in a fighting stance thinking that he's taking All Might hostage. Then Deku tries to activate Blood Axe Rampage, where his skin and he starts to glow that red, like dark demonic color, and the lunatic side takes over. And all of a sudden, he starts hitting himself really hard in the head, and he runs at Aizawa. The only thing that's keeping him awake at this point is his Blood Axe Rampage. So Aizawa activates his quirk to see if he can cancel Kreig's quirk. He doesn't know it's Kreig, though. So he literally passes out while running. So Kreig currently has no shirt, bandages on both arms. Oh. Hold on. Let's see. Bandages on both arms. A psycho mask. Like, he has a mask like this on. Like it. He doesn't have that exact one, because it's only covering from nose down. Where is it? He has bandages on his arms. So think of the right arm bandages, no metal on his arms, on both arms. So he just has like prisoner pants, like you see in this image. Thanks to whoever posted this image. This is a great image showing Kreig. His buzz axe is currently disappearing because his quirk is forcefully negated, and he's passed out on the floor. He has no shoes, and he has a leather harness like you see here, but only leather, no metal. And All Might's like, what the hell, Eraserhead? I was talking to him. He needs help. So Eraserhead's like, oh crap. How old is he? He looks like he's an adult. He acted like he was an adult, and he looks like he's 13. All Might immediately replies, I don't know. Haven't gotten that far. I was planning on taking him to Nezu because he asked for help. And I don't know how to deal with him. So he literally goes straight to Nezu with Kreig, puts Kreig in Recovery Girl's office, puts a quirk canceling bracelet on Kreig. Remember, he has a quirk canceling bracelet, not an ability nullification bracelet. So Kreig can still summon his Buzz Axe because he has a melee ability. And he can still summon the Dynamite because of his abilities, his light diffuse ability. And Nezu is wondering if someone is a descendant of Vault Hunters, because only descendants can use new use stations. And Nezu found a new use station. He fixed it. It's an old doll new use station, not a Hyperion. So if any of the people die that are, if they can't save a descendant of a Vault Hunter in this facility, and the Vault Hunter was signed up to the new use station, they get one free revive. And then when All Might puts him down with a quirk canceling bracelet on, 3 minutes later, he wakes up. While All Might, Eraserhead, and Nezu are currently speaking in the hallway. Recovery Girl sees that he's finally waking up. He sees a lab coat, then he immediately pulls out a stick of dynamite. And he starts yelling. Some random phrases that Kreig yells, but he starts yelling. All Might notices that sounds like Kreig a little, but more gibberish and can't understand him. So he immediately runs in, trying to calm him down. Kreig doesn't know, but understands that he's not going to die. So he sees All Might going in front of Recovery Girl, trying to calm him down, and he's like, oh crap, I just did a big mistake. So he breaks the window, jumps out of the window, goes to where nothing is around, immediately blows up. Then all of a sudden, they just see another stick of dynamite right where his corpse is, right in his chest. And they're like, the hell is going on? And all of a sudden, they see the new use station activate. Hold on. I need to take a drink of water. So, they see the new use station activate. And they're like, holy crap, he's also a Vault Hunter. A descendant of a Vault Hunter. And they're like, which one? Aizawa, who has had to train multiple descendants of Vault Hunters, like, oh crap, that's Kreig. And they're like, who's Kreig? Nezu immediately puts it together that the gibberish that he's spouting is because his mind broke. And he probably has multiple voices, so he gets a telepath that can talk and receive messages from minds. He calls one in. An hour later, Kreig is currently on the bed, just sleeping, while all of his voices in his head are still arguing of who gets control. And all of a sudden, they hear a voice. And it's like, can you understand me? The sane voice starts talking like, who the hell is this? Where'd you come from? It's like, don't be alarmed, I'm a telepath. That's my quirk. And he's like, okay. I want to talk to All Might. And she's like, that's not my quirk. I can't link minds. I can only talk to minds. So I can't get All Might in here, but I have him sitting next to me in the same room as you and me. He's like, okay. He's right now the only one who can calm down crazy Kreig, or crazy me. And she's like, do you know what your abilities are? And he's like, yes. Apparently I'm a vault hunter and I can't talk. And she's like, okay, that's strange. That explains why I was called in to talk to you. And then Logical, I'm going to call him Logical. Sane is going to be called Deku, and Crazy is just going to be called Kreig. Because Kreig is a very smart individual. Because if you've seen any of his skills, you know that his abilities aren't normal. They're all scientific. His abilities were all tests that were ran on him. Oops, sorry. He's currently doing a project for my parents. But his abilities were given to him via testing and all that. So when the scientists found out that he was part Vault Hunter and that his quirk was the same ability that a Vault Hunter from long ago used, it's like, oh crap, this Vault Hunter needs to be experimented on to have full potential. Then we can use him as a weapon. And you saw how well that worked for Hyperion in Borderlands 2. He went rogue and helped the Crimson Raiders. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So, Kreig currently has trust issues. He only trusts All Might because he feels like he knows him already. He feels like he understands All Might. From the 2 years he was watching All Might videos, because I'm going to say he was watching All Might videos from the age of 1 to 3 before he was left in the middle of the woods because Inko couldn't handle his quirk. His quirk made his physical body 30 times stronger than a normal one. It made him running 50 times faster than a normal person. This is a normal person, not a Vault Hunter. And she knew that if his Vault Hunter side came out, he would be unstoppable. And she couldn't have that. So she didn't want to deal with him. And he went, okay, I'm just leaving you in the woods and I'm not going to deal with you again. Which those 2 years of him watching All Might videos and listening to them, because he's very smart, he remembers everything that happened to him. The insane side of Kreig was made because of the torture, the interrogation, and the torture, the experiments. So all the descendants of Kreig started to go crazy at the littlest things. Because Kreig showed that crazy can be good. And the crazy, his quirk is Kreig. The actual name of his quirk is Kreig. And the doctor saw that his quirk's name was Kreig. He's like, that's the name of a Vault Hunter, and I only know that because I recently read a report that they found another Vault Hunter. And apparently this Vault Hunter is the reincarnation of Maya. And if you see where I'm going with this, I'm not saying who it is yet, but if you see where I'm going with this, Maya's reincarnation is what tethers Kreig and makes him sane again. Oh, semi-sane. So I can talk in small sentences, little words, so people can actually understand him. But All Might, Nezu, the basically therapist that is helping, and Eraserhead are all in the same room. And the therapist's quirk is that she can link hers and someone else's mind, but she can also project the conversation that she's having with the other person. So currently All Might, Eraserhead, and Nezu are like, oh crap, this kid is a reincarnation completely of Kreig. And if we remember correctly, the only one who could understand Kreig was Maya. And finally, the topic that they all wanted to get on, and the therapist asked, what is your age? The logic literally just said 10. The sane one is like, I was abandoned 3 years old. I got to the facility a few months after, and I've been there for around 7 years. I haven't had a good life. Everybody's eyes widen, except for the therapist. She has to have her eyes closed for a quirk to work. She must be touching and have her eyes closed for a quirk to work. This will come in later. So, while the therapist is asking questions, Nezu has left the room and is searching for a certain kid. He is searching for a blonde-haired, tattooed girl. If everybody knows their My Hero characters, they can pretty much place who I'm gonna put Psycho Deku with. And he's basically a psycho. Kreig is literally a psychopath. a blonde, blue tattooed girl that just recently awoken her siren powers. I'm going to change Maya's, the Reincarnation siren ability a little. See, she doesn't just have phase lock. That works on people who have hostile intent. Because that's what I'm just going to say, is it works the best on people with hostile intent. But also she can pick up friendlies. And negate quirks. Her ability can negate quirks. And her quirk doesn't even go with her siren abilities, which everybody's confused about. Most sirens, and there's a siren that goes by the name Lilith as a hero. Like, okay, so she's the reincarnation of Lilith. Because she can phase walk. And her ability is invisibility. And like, that kind of goes together. Because you're in a different dimension. So you're invisible. So Hagakure is 20. Lilith. Hagakure is a Firehawk who is, I'm gonna say, Mirko is Amara. Mirko and Amara kinda have the same personality, so that works. Mirko is Amara. So an hour passes and the conversation ends. The therapist takes her hand off of Kreig's head and opens her eyes. But she doesn't just see one Kreig. She sees 3. The one that's in the bed, who has a bluish aura around him. The one that stands, which has a red aura around him. And then one that's in the back, that has a green aura around him. That's currently sitting on the floor, with his eyes closed and not talking. And she stands up, starts walking out, and the blue one starts talking to the green one, being like, "Logic, have we had enough sleep?" And the green one's like, "Yes, we have." The red one, Kreig, just starts spewing out random phrases. And Deku, which is the sane one, opens his eyes and looks around and sees the Kreig, red one, and Logic, the blue or green one. It's like, why the hell can I see you guys? And the therapist immediately faints. Doesn't know why. Her quirk makes her nauseous if she uses it for more than an hour, or more than an hour and like 5 minutes, which is strangely perfect timing. But the next person to touch her sees Logic, Deku, and Kreig, the different personalities, and understands them. Which the first person to touch her is Maya. Maya's reincarnation. And she's like, whoa, don't fall over too fast. Just like the Maya of, whoa, I'm going to be a little strange, but I'm still going to understand and be chill with everything. Like in Borderlands 2's Maya. And I'm going to say, oh, what was the skin? I forget the name of the skin. No, I'm not going to give Maya a different look. So it's just base Borderlands 2 Maya, but with blonde hair. And Kreig's eyes widen. Logic opens his eyes and just says, pretty. Kreig starts spouting out random affectionate, what he calls affectionate phrases, and Deku is just, holy crap, we finally agree on something, and says, beautiful. You finally get to hear her name if you don't understand who it is. Toga is like, what? Just like, what? And Deku, who's currently he, he just sitting up in bed, is like, wait, you can hear us? And she's like, of course I can. You're talking through your normal body. And then she finally puts the therapist down and looks over and sees there's 3 Kreigs. And she's like, wait, what is this? And they're like, exactly. You can actually understand us. And she's like, yeah, but why is there 3 of you? Logic says, don't know. Talking in mind. She last talked to. Like small caveman sentences. Which completely makes Deku go, oh my god, we need to learn normal English. Or this is going to be a UA or a AU where UA is in America. We need to learn normal English. And by the time All Might gets back, because he had to leave the room for hero work, because he was called in, Eraserhead fell asleep because everything was going normal, and he's a light sleeper. And he didn't hear any noises that made him wake up. So when it comes to fighting, and I'm going to kill you kind of noises, he wakes up immediately. But if it's the, okay, we're just talking, and all of a sudden I'm surprised that something happened, he's still asleep. Because I'm changing his quirk just a tiny bit, where his quirk isn't just erase. He doesn't need to keep his eyes open to have it stay erased. But there's the downside of, even with his eyes closed, they still dry out really freaking quickly. So when Aizawa wakes up because he hears All Might running to the infirmary, he hears, why is there 3 of you? And All Might opening the door. all of a sudden, and Toga's like, "Oh my God, it's All Might!" Like every girl and fanboy, he says, "Oh my God, you're my hero!" And then she asks All Might, "Why is there three of him?" And points at Kreig. He's like, "There aren't. There's only one. The one laying on that bed." And he points directly at the bed. And she's like, okay. First off, there's one there, points to the middle of the room, and he's currently running around like a maniac and spewing random words like a psycho. There's one sitting on that bed, points to the other side of the room. He's green, he's red, and then there's a guy with blue around him. Not completely, but blue around him. And he calls the green guy Logic, the red guy a Kreig for some odd reason, and the blue guy apparently is Deku because he's useless. Don't know why. That's what they call him. And All Might immediately knows, wait, you can see them? And she's like, you can't? There's one sitting on that bed, standing over there, and one basically laying in him. And All Might's like, okay. Those are the voices inside his head, and points directly at the sane Kreig laying down, Deku. And he's like, 3 voices in that head. And you apparently say the crazy one's over here, or apparently crazy one's over here, and the logic one's over there. And the logic's like, you right. Deku's like, shut up. And Kreig starts spewing random, I'm sad because you insulted me, noises. Which Maya's like, first off, you have no right to be sad. You were just having fun. And if you really want, I could fight you later. And Kreig starts jumping off the walls. He imagines himself jumping off the walls, being even more of a maniac. While Deku's like, you just killed us all. And Logic's like, fight, fun him. Mean no fight. When they're in Kreig's mind and no one can hear them, they can speak long sentences, understand everything, but when Maya or the therapist are in the same room, they apparently jump out and start talking like cavemen again. Don't know. Quirk logic. But Deku finally opens his eyes with actually opening his eyes. Finally opens his actual eyes. And the blue aura subsides. The red aura subsides. And the green aura subsides. And she's like, where the hell did they go? And all of a sudden, Kreig says one word, here, and points to his head. Then all of a sudden he realizes what he just did. He talked. And I personally like this what if, so I'm going to continue it, hopefully finish it. Maybe going to be an hour each episode-ish. So, if you like it, you like it. You don't have to press the like button. I don't need them to feed my family. My family feeds me. So yeah. I'd love it if you press the like button. If you like this, I'm going to try to put one out each day. try. Emphasis on try. Because I don't live alone. I have a decibel level in my household. And life sucks. So, I'm going to end this part here. Hopefully get this out the same day. Hopefully get them all out the same day. Yay. Make them. So, if you like them, subscribe, like, make a playlist. I'm going to make one after I get 2 to 3 episodes out. So it's easier for me to listen to them again. Because I honestly like this series. I'm going to hopefully make better decisions on the story. Besides just, I'm going to throw all the characters in. Because I'm going to throw in Salvador, Zero, Axton, Gage, everybody. Just saying. Melissa Shield, Gage, all the way.